Welcome to Mindful Moments. Nourish your mind on the go. This audio uses AI narration to present our original book analysis.
Oh, cool.
Today, we're diving deep into Agatha Christie's. And then there were none.
Sounds good.
You share the full text of the book.
Yeah.
And we're ready to unlock the secrets hidden within this classic mystery.
This story is a masterclass in suspense. 10 strangers, each with a dark secret, are lured to a secluded island.
Yeah.
And then systematically eliminated. Their deaths mirroring a chilling nursery rhyme.
It's like a twisted game of chess.
Yeah.
And Christie is the grandmaster, moving the pieces with precision. Right from the start, she drops us into a world of suspicion. We meet the guests as they journey to Soldier Island.
Okay.
A retired judge, a nervous secretary, an adventurous soldier.
Interesting.
And through snippets of their thoughts and actions, we get these tantalizing glimpses of their pasts and the secrets they're hiding. It's like she's giving us a puzzle box and saying, figure this out before it's too late.
Yeah. That's fascinating. What's remarkable is how Christie plants seeds of doubt from the very first page.
Yeah.
Each guest is linked to a past death.
Right.
And the way they rationalize their actions makes us question everyone's innocence.
Yeah.
Take the retired judge, for instance.
Well,
He embodies authority, but there's a hint of ruthlessness in the way he reflects on his decisions. It makes you wonder if his pursuit of justice might have crossed a line.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
And then there's the setting itself, Soldier Island. It's not just a backdrop. It's practically a character in the story. This isolated, rugged island, shrouded in stormy weather, creates this palpable sense of claustrophobia.
Oh, I see.
It's like the island is a cage and the characters are trapped with their secrets and their fears.
The isolation of the island is crucial to the story's effectiveness. It amplifies the psychological tension, forcing the characters to confront their pasts and each other with
Right.
no escape.
Yeah.
And that sense of unease is further heightened by the nursery rhyme that hangs in each room.
Right. The nursery rhyme about 10 little soldier boys dying off one by one isn't just a creepy detail. It becomes a blueprint for the murders. A macabre countdown that ratchets up the suspense with each death. And the china figures on the dining table disappearing as guests die. Talk about a visual representation of their dwindling hope.
Oh, wow. The nursery rhyme creates this chilling sense of inevitability. As each verse comes to life, the characters become increasingly aware of their own mortality.
Right.
Their fates seemingly tied to this childhood song.
Yeah.
They're desperately trying to decipher its meaning, hoping to find a clue that will save them, but the rhyme, like the killer, remains shrouded in mystery.
And then the tension explodes when a mysterious voice accuses each guest of their past transgressions during dinner.
Oh my God.
It's like a courtroom drama unfolding in this isolated mansion. You see guilt, defiance, denial, a whole spectrum of human responses to being exposed. So it really makes you think about the weight of the past and the different ways we cope with our secrets.
This scene is pivotal. It shatters any semblance of normalcy,
Yeah.
plunging the island into chaos.
Yeah.
The accusations, whether true or not, force the guests to confront their past actions
Right.
and expose their vulnerabilities to each other. The very foundation of trust crumbles, making it nearly impossible to discern who is the real killer hiding among them.
And as the murders start, Christie doesn't hold back. Each death is cleverly staged from a poisoned drink to a staged suicide. You're right there with the guests trying to decipher the clues, and just when you think you're onto something, another twist throws you off track.
Christie is a master of misdirection. She uses classic mystery tropes, red herrings, carefully planted clues to keep us guessing.
Yeah.
For instance, she might make a character appear overly suspicious, leading us to believe they are the killer. But this is a deliberate ploy, a red herring designed to distract us from the true culprit.
Oh, wow.
It's like a magic trick where our attention is drawn to one hand,
Oh.
while the real action happens with the other.
It's a brilliant manipulation of our expectations, and it keeps us hooked, eager to unravel the puzzle before the final piece falls into place.
And speaking of the final piece, the killer's identity is perhaps the biggest twist of all. I don't want to spoil it.
Of course.
But the reveal is both shocking and, upon reflection, completely logical. It's a testament to Christie's skill that she can make the unexpected seem inevitable.
And that's what makes... And then there were none so compelling. It's not just about solving the mystery.
Right.
It's about exploring the dark side of human nature
Yeah.
and the complex themes of guilt, justice, and the consequences of our actions.
It's a story that stays with you long after you've finished it,
Yeah.
prompting you to consider your own moral compass and the choices you would make if faced with similar circumstances.
Now, I know we've covered a lot of ground already.
Yeah.
But we've just scratched the surface of this intricate mystery.
We've laid the foundation, but there's still so much to uncover. The deeper symbolism woven into the story, the killer's motivations, the ethical dilemmas raised by their actions.
So let's take a breath, process what we've learned so far, and get ready to dive even deeper into the heart of And Then There Were None.
Sounds good. Welcome back to our deep dive into Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None.
Okay.
We've set the stage,
Right.
explored the chilling atmosphere of Soldier Island,
Yeah.
and witnessed the initial unraveling of the characters' carefully constructed facades. Now let's delve deeper into the layers of symbolism and psychological tension that make this story so captivating.
I'm ready to go down the rabbit hole.
Mhm.
We talked about the nursery rhyme acting as a blueprint for the murders.
Yeah.
But what about the deeper meaning behind it? Is it just a creepy detail, or is Christie hinting at something more profound?
The nursery rhyme is a brilliant example of how Christie uses seemingly simple elements to weave a complex tapestry of meaning. On one level, it serves as a literal roadmap for the killer's plan,
Right.
fueling suspense as each death aligns with a verse. But on a symbolic level, the rhyme represents the inevitability of fate. The idea that these characters, burdened by their pasts, are trapped in a preordained narrative, playing out a script they can't escape.
And the way the characters themselves become fixated on the rhyme,
Exactly.
desperately trying to decode its meaning, adds another layer to their psychological torment.
Right?
It's like they're searching for a loophole,
Yeah.
a way to cheat their fate. But the rhyme, much like the killer, offers no such comfort.
Precisely. Their obsession with the rhyme reflects their growing desperation,
Right.
their inability to grasp the true nature of the threat they face.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are the other symbolic objects scattered throughout the island, the disappearing china figures,
Right.
each one representing a life extinguished, the very name of the island itself. Soldier Island evoking a sense of warfare, a battle for survival that these characters are destined to lose.
It's like the island is a stage set for a morality play.
Yeah.
And these characters are playing out their roles in a drama orchestrated by an unseen hand. And speaking of morality, the theme of justice runs deep in And Then There Were None. Each character is haunted by a past transgression, a sin for which they've never been held accountable. But is the killer truly an instrument of justice as they seem to believe?
That's the question that makes this story so morally complex. The killer operates under the guise of righteous judgment, believing they are delivering punishment to those who have escaped the law.
Okay.
But their methods are cold-blooded and calculated, their actions driven by a personal vendetta rather than any objective sense of justice.
So it's not really about justice, is it?
Right.
It's about revenge, wrapped in the language of morality to justify the killer's actions.
Yeah.
And that raises the question, how can we even define justice when the lines between guilt and innocence, victim and perpetrator become so blurred?
Exactly. Christie doesn't offer easy answers. She presents a chilling scenario where the scales of justice are tipped by personal bias and a thirst for revenge, forcing us to confront the uncomfortable truth that even those who believe they're acting righteously can become instruments of cruelty.
And that brings us to the characters themselves.
Yeah.
Each one is a study in guilt. Their past's a tangled web of secrets and justifications. How does Christie use their individual stories to explore the psychological impact of guilt and the destructive power of secrets?
Each character carries a hidden burden,
Right.
a past transgression that shapes their present actions and vulnerabilities. And as the tension mounts on the island, these secrets begin to unravel, fueling paranoia and distrust among the guests. Take Vera Claythorne, for example.
Go.
She's haunted by a tragic incident from her past, and as the situation deteriorates, her composure cracks, revealing the fragile facade she's built to conceal her guilt.
And what about Dr. Armstrong?
He's a man of science, driven by logic and reason. But as the events on the island spiral out of control, he's forced to question his own sanity and confront the limitations of his rational worldview.
Yeah.
It's like the island itself is a crucible,
Yeah.
stripping away the layers of civilization and exposing the raw, primal emotions beneath. Christie masterfully peels back the layers of her characters, revealing their inner turmoil and the ways in which guilt, fear, and desperation can distort their perceptions and drive them to act in ways they never thought possible. And this psychological complexity is further amplified by the isolation of the island.
Right. Cut off from the outside world, stripped of their usual routines and social connections, they're forced to confront their inner demons head on.
Exactly.
The island becomes a microcosm of society, a pressure cooker where civility and reason crumble under the weight of suspicion and terror.
Precisely. And within this pressure cooker, Christie explores the darker aspects of human nature, the capacity for cruelty, deceit, and self-preservation that emerges when the veneer of civilization is stripped away.
It's a chilling reminder that even the most seemingly rational individuals are capable of unthinkable acts when driven by fear and desperation.
Now, having delved into the symbolic layers and psychological depths of the story, it's time to turn our attention to the mastermind behind it all, the killer.
Yeah.
How does Christie manage to keep us guessing until the very end?
Yeah.
And what makes the final reveal so impactful?
I'm on the edge of my seat. Let's unravel the mystery together in the final part of our deep dive. Welcome back to our deep dive into Agatha Christie's. And Then There Were None. We've explored the symbolism, delved into the characters' psyches, and grappled with the ethical complexities of the story. Now let's turn our attention to the mastermind behind it all, the killer.
The brilliance of Diro. And Then There Were None lies not just in the intricate plot, but also in how Christie manipulates our expectations as readers. She uses the classic whodunit structure to her advantage, but then twists it, turning the investigation into a desperate fight for survival.
Right. The isolation of the island becomes a key factor. There's no outside detective to call on, no escape route. The characters are forced to become their own investigators, judge, and jury, which only intensifies the paranoia and distrust. It's like she's dropped us into a pressure cooker and then slowly turned up the heat.
And as the tension builds, Christie masterfully utilizes red herrings and misdirection. She makes us suspect each character in turn, highlighting their flaws and suspicious behaviors. We're led down one path then another, constantly reevaluating our assumptions, and that's what makes the final reveal so impactful.
It's like she's playing a game with us, challenging us to outsmart her, but she's always one step ahead. Can you give us an example of how she uses red herrings?
Think about how she portrays Philip Lombard. He's presented as this rugged, adventurous figure, a bit of a rogue. His past is shrouded in mystery, and his actions sometimes seem deliberately designed to mislead the others. We're naturally inclined to suspect him, but that's precisely what Christie wants us to do. She's using our preconceived notions about his character type to distract us from the true killer.
It's a brilliant manipulation of our expectations. And speaking of the killer's identity, I have to say, when it was finally revealed, I was completely stunned. It was unexpected, yet upon reflection, it made perfect sense. How does Christie achieve that balance between surprise and logic?
It all comes down to her meticulous plotting and understanding of human psychology. The clues are there all along, but they're subtly woven into the narrative, often disguised as seemingly insignificant details or red herrings. She understands how our minds work, how we jump to conclusions based on limited information and our own biases. And she uses that knowledge to her advantage, leading us down the garden path while carefully laying the groundwork for the final reveal.
And what about the killer's confession? The fact that it's written in the form of a message in a bottle addressed to the reader adds another layer of complexity. It's like they're seeking our understanding, or perhaps even our absolution.
That direct address to the reader is a brilliant touch. It blurs the line between fiction and reality, making us complicit in the killer's game. We're no longer just passive observers. We're drawn into their twisted world, forced to confront the disturbing rationale behind their actions.
It's a chilling reminder that the human mind is capable of incredible darkness, and that even those who believe they are acting righteously can be driven by twisted motives.
And ultimately, And Then There Were None leaves us with more questions than answers. It challenges our notions of justice, morality, and the very nature of truth. It's a story that lingers in the mind, prompting us to reflect on our own values and the choices we make in the face of extraordinary circumstances.
Well, I think we've thoroughly explored the depths of And Then There Were None, from the intricate construction of the plot to the chilling psychological insights.
We've covered the symbolic setting, the masterful use of suspense, and the thought-provoking themes that make this book an enduring masterpiece.
If this deep dive has piqued your interest, we highly recommend picking up a copy of And Then There Were None. You'll experience the full impact of Christie's masterful storytelling firsthand. And be sure to subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into captivating books and thought-provoking ideas. You can find a link to purchase the book in the description below.
Until next time, keep those little gray cells working.